Did the Batman director Matt Reeves secretly reveal the movie's plot? Much like its titular character, the Batman film has been wrapped up in secrecy. Like, how much of the Dark Knight's rogues gallery are we actually going to see? Is this going to be the first detective story for a Batman film? And when, oh when, will we get our first look at Robert Pattinson's full Batsuit? Oh wait, what? Wait, we did? Like last week? Oh, right, you were there. I was too. One question answered. Look at all the progress we're making. While there have been a few casting reveals and leaked set photos that give us hints of what to expect so far, official information about the film hasn't exactly been forthcoming. But now, thanks to a new tweet from the film's director, Matt Reeves, we may have gotten a new detail that could help tie together all of these loose threads into one beautiful bat quilt. Now, we're going to be getting into some behind-the-scenes territory with this episode, so if this concerns you, you may want to pull the ripcord on your parachute and eject from your bat plane and out of this video. For everyone else, take this time to like and subscribe. It's what Alfred would want. So, what exactly was said and what are we seeing? Let's break it down. Let's begin with what we know so far. We know the Batman isn't going to adapt one single comic book storyline. This was according to a quote that Matt Reeves gave at the Television Critics Association back in 2018. We're not doing any particular comic. Year One is one of the many comic books that I love. We're definitely not doing Year One. He then added, obviously we're not doing an origin tale or anything like that. We're doing a story that's definitively Batman though, and trying to tell a story that's emotional, and yet is really about him being the world's greatest detective. He hit those points even harder when he said, I've talked about making it a very point-of-view noir-driven definitive Batman story in which he's investigating a particular case, and that takes us out into the world of Gotham. And while all of this sounds like good news, Reeves threw Bat fans for a loop this week when he tweeted out an image from Batman Year One along with the caption, "Happy birthday, Bruce Wayne!" While this isn't 100% proof positive that Reeves is going to be using that story, it does seem to reinforce that he's going to be drawing inspiration from it. As the name implies, this classic Batman story from Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli tells the story of Batman's first year of crime fighting. He develops the skills that turn him from the man into the Batman that we all know and love. So while the film may not be an origin story, we're going to be getting a Batman who's still relatively new to the crime fighting game. But that's not all. We now know the reason we got the official reveal of the new Batsuit last week is because Warner Brothers wanted to control showing it off first, since set photos and videos started dropping this week once they began filming in Glasgow. Now, thanks to social media, we can see a capeless Batman riding a motorcycle down the streets of Glasgow, where the Batman is currently filming. And if we had to guess, this feels highly reminiscent of the Dark Knight's look from the New 52 Batman origin story, Batman Year Zero. This next piece of evidence is the information we've gathered about all the villains set to appear in the film. So far, we know Colin Farrell's going to appear as the Penguin, Zoe Kravitz will be Catwoman, Paul Dano will be the Riddler, and John Turturro is going to be Carmine Falcone, the gabagoo boss of Gotham City. But could all of these baddies just be the tip of the villainous iceberg? Because there's many rumors circulating online from people who have seen the filming locations for the Batman, claiming there are jack-o'-lanterns all over the set. Now this seems to give us another piece of the puzzle, specifically that the film is going to draw inspiration from another fan-favorite comic, The Long Halloween. This story takes place around Batman's second year of operating as a crime-fighting vigilante, so it's basically like a sequel to Year One. And it focuses on a Batman who's still learning the ropes, and he must track down a serial killer who kills once a month on a holiday. And finally, there's a last bit to add on top of all of this. There's been a casting call where the Batman is currently filming, seeking circus performers. While the casting call doesn't specifically mention it's for the Batman, I mean, come on. We know it's for the Batman because the circus specifically ties into the backstory of a main Batman character. And no, we're not talking about the clown prince of crime. Nice try, you word associator. We're talking about Dick Grayson, aka Robin. Now, could this be where we see his family of acrobats, the Flying Graysons, stop flying and start dying? I'm sorry, that's pretty glib. They got murdered. It's pretty tragic. Anyway, now canonically, this tragedy strikes around Year 3. Is that like? Now, canonically, this tragedy strikes around Year 3 of Bruce Wayne's tenure as Batman and is further explored in the Long Halloween sequel, Dark Victory. And while we might not be getting that story just yet, the filmmakers could be setting us up for an inevitable sequel down the road. So what does this mean? Well, for sure we're not getting an origin story or a one-to-one comic book adaptation with the Batman, but we will see a young Batman that's pulling from the best elements of his first few years of Batmaning. It seems to us that DC's taking the same approach that Marvel most recently took when they reintroduced Spider-Man into the MCU. We didn't see the spider bite, we didn't watch Uncle Ben die yet again with Tom Holland cradling his body. We got to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man as like this young vigilante with some experience already under his belt, and they just jumped into some of the webhead stories. And honestly, we can only watch a string of pearls hit the ground or a world-weary Batman trying to hang up the cape and cowl so many times before it gets old. Honestly, if I have to see the Waynes die one more time, I'm gonna kill my Uncle Ben. Now, but we'll just have to wait and see which aspects of which Batman stories are definitely making their way onto the big screen when The Batman comes to theaters next year. But what do you folks think? What storylines would you want to see them adapt for the big screen? Who's your favorite Batman? And what did you think of Robert Pattinson's Batman costume? Be honest, let's discuss. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, why not give us a like and subscribe? If you want to get notified every time we go live with a new show or drop a new video, please feel free to mash that little bell. And that way you can be up to date on all the latest theories, news, and rumors in the pop culture world. If you don't, we're gonna see the Waynes die again. It's just a fact.